Coming.
It's the Real Estate Power Hour.
Oh!
Man, that one that pre-detonated on us, Bobby.
Yeah, that was good.
How's everybody doing today?
Can't complain.
Chad's a year older and Bobby's almost.
Almost, yeah, for sure. We got Christmas a week away.
Who knew that the two moguls of KNTR Talk Real Estate, right?
Oh my goodness.
The Power Hour.
Boom. Moguls.
Who knew that they were 4 days apart?
Yeah.
Not just your birthdays,
Oh, the year and everything.
but your birthdays.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We both start our 51st year around the sun this year. So
There we go.
That's insane.
That's a big one, right?
You know, I got to thinking about this, and you guys were born in 72, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So around the summer of 73, my family vacationed in Ohio. It was a family vacation type thing. And I remember I was like 8 years old or 9 years old watching the Watergate hearings. And you guys were crawling around in diapers. How's that for history? Man, that's crazy. So Chad brought a special guest today.
I did. I actually, I wanted to take this opportunity. We have a new loan officer that came and started with Mohave Mortgage. And this young gentleman, his name's Jacob Moskal, and I brought him with us today so he can kind of have his quinceañera or coming out party, if you want to call it that.
Are you 15?
Not quite. This young gentleman worked in the retail mortgage industry for Sprocket and Creepo and all all those guys. And he was an account executive at one of our wholesale partners. And he called me a couple months ago and asked. He lived in Michigan. Detroit, Michigan, and he said he called me up and he said, Chad, man, I need a change in my life. If I moved to Arizona, would you give me a job? And I said, absolutely. And he says, okay, I'm coming. I go, yeah, whatever. yeah, we'll see. Yeah, sure. I'll believe it when I see you walking through the desert. And he's here. So we got a brand new loan officer at Mohave Mortgage, young gun, young man. Jacob Moskal, all the way from Detroit, Michigan, has come to join our team.
Do I call you Mr. Moskal, Jacob, Jake? What do we call you?
Whatever's easier for you. Jacob is what I'm going to be going by professionally, but Mr. Moskal is always acceptable too.
So if he's in this,
of course it is.
We got a natural.
So if he's in this room, we don't have to use his professional name. We can just say Jake, right?
Yeah. So I just
you
wanted
get
to,
that right.
I wanted to welcome him to the team, kind of in a fashion. I've had other loan officers in here with us before, and of course we've had Bobby's teammates in here, and it's one big happy family with all of us. So I wanted to make sure that Jake got a proper introduction, and we want to welcome you to the team, Jake. And look, the real reason we hired him. And look how pretty the guy is.
It's for his cornhole skills.
Yeah, and he can play a wicked game of cornhole too. Come to find out, yeah.
Good job, by the way.
Yeah. So, anyways, welcome, Jake. We truly appreciate you, and we truly appreciate you coming all the way out here from Detroit, Michigan, and welcome to the team. So,
have you ever been on the West Coast?
A little bit. I mean, I used to travel to California a lot for business. I actually visited Chad and the team about a year ago. Actually November 11th. And when I left, I was talking to him and my parents in general, just saying this might be where I start my next chapter. And roughly about a year later is when I made that phone call to him. Made the leap and took the 33-hour drive out here to Havasu.
Well, ladies of Havasu, beware, because this guy kind of looks like an MMA fighter.
Oh, he does. I know, right? With that trim beard and everything. I know, he does, right?
Yeah, totally. So, are you a fan of the Octagon, too?
A little bit, yeah. Conor McGregor's always a good one to watch. I love just the confidence that he has, but I actually grew up playing hockey, so I still got a little bit of that fight in me, too.
You can always tell when someone plays hocky by the way they say it.
Look at this guy. I mean, listen to this guy. He's a natural, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bobby, I think we're going to be out of a job here.
I'm worried about it.
Jake's going to come in here and take over.
Well, I've got a surprise for Bobby later in the show. So Bobby doesn't know that I've acquired a certain piece of information via electronic mail. So I've got a surprise for Bobby, and then happy birthday to Chad on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Bobby's is coming up on Sunday, so we're like right in the middle of this whole thing. Nice segue.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear these numbers.
What you got for us, Bobby?
Well, where do we want to start?
Oh, just deliver it.
Just deliver it out. Why don't we go to our solds for the month of November? I kind of always start with that. And for perspective, we'll start out with this is single-family homes. I have been updated. I need to disclose this is from the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors, so everything's deemed to be correct, but could be off a little, but it's pretty darn accurate.
Which, by the way, the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors. I don't know if you know this, but Dawn Hansen from Mohave Mortgage is the affiliate of the year from Lake Havasu Association of Realtors.
Amazing.
We could not be prouder than that. She earned that. Yeah.
An amazing
Yeah.
feat, for
so,
sure.
you know,
People love you guys.
She does great things. So I'm sorry, I didn't.
No,
mean to
that's,
interrupt. I'm just so proud of that. I heard that and I go, oh.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go with solds because this will be the scariest part of the numbers. If you want to be scared. In 2020, we sold 164 in November. 2021, 147. 2022, 61.
Ooh.
I think that's my low I've ever seen, I believe.
The lowest.
Or got to be right there. I've been doing this a long time. It's right down towards the bottom. And
You're off 60%.
Yeah, it's a big
We're off 60%.
And if we go to, but there's a silver lining to this cloud, and I'm not just doing this because we're trying to promote real estate here. That's not what I'm doing here. But the silver lining is inventory. With only 61 homes selling in a month, which is unbelievably, inventory shrank.
Really?
It went down.
We were up over 400.
We were 460 last month.
Right.
397. It shrank more than the number of homes because a couple extras came off the market. And we've been shrinking for a couple months. What it speaks to, I mean, if we're not going too long here, and as a realtor went through 08 and all the things like that, I have a lot of PTSD. We talk about it every month.
Yeah, right.
But we weren't seeing inventory shrink back then. It was exploding. Mm-hmm. And what that speaks to, if things get a little bit right in lending, this market could still go.
I think so. I think we're probably 2 quarters away from that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, because it's mind-blowing that nobody could convince me that with those kind of numbers, 61 sales in a month, 64 if I count in new construction, but very low number, that we would have shrank in inventory.
And this is the month of November that we're talking about. This is the month of
November. And I mean, just look at the history. 2020, which was a boom year, we were 164. Last year we were 147. I mean, it's way less than half.
Do you have a month to date for December?
Yeah, it's not much better. It's 41 right now, month to date. So it's actually it could be quite a bit better, but we do have some holidays in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it really slow down next week?
It does, but there could be a lot of cash transactions that are closing out before the end of the year. Sometimes there's a little bit of a run on the numbers because people are trying to get it closed before 2023. But it's not. It doesn't look like we're going to exceed 100 by any means.
You're pacing 79 if you count in all 31 days, but you have
two
federal holidays,
and it's.
Well, no, one federal holiday because the next one rolls in. The federal holidays are on the Mondays after Christmas and New Year's.
Sure.
So you take, but next week, as you know, Bobby had asked, I think we're gonna. I mean, next week is. Don't get me wrong, Mohave Mortgage is still grinding, but you know it's a very strange. The last 2 weeks of December are very strange, but historically, those have been our largest closing months over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I heard you address this next question a little bit on 2.0, but the end of the year, is it really important that people close by the end of the year? Is there any sort of significance to that?
It depends on which aspect you're looking at. There are some folks that are real estate investors, and I'm sure Bobby will agree with this. As real estate investors, if they have some sort of tax liabilities that they need to dump property or what have you, or maybe they're taking a loss, then yes. But right now, real estate, it's been so hot over the last couple of years that I don't think a lot of people are taking losses. So, but yeah, for some folks. But for your average homeowner, no, it doesn't. I mean, it's not going to, especially if you have capital gains exemptions, you'd have $500,000 in capital gains exemptions if you're married on your primary residence. So, but for some investors, yeah, they may have tax ramifications that they need to handle by the end of the year, but it's not typical. It's not common.
Interesting. Bobby, did you have the range of prices? You usually go over average and mean.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And all that.
The average skewed last month because we had a bunch of really high-end homes close last month on the average, meaning the mean.
That would be out of 61. You had what? How many?
Yeah. Oh well, and that was
the big ticket ones.
This month we only had 2.
Wow, yeah. We had 11 the month before, right?
Yeah, it was 11, I believe, on what I have here. But we were down to 2. But that's still 2 of 61. It's still a decent percentage, actually. And the median, we came back from 472 That's the middle number, which is probably the good number to use because it's a more honest number. The 4, and we're at 460 in November, so another 12 grand down since last month on the median. We were actually at 445 on the median in September, though, so we're up a little bit from that. All in all, though, I broke it down because of the skewed numbers and being lower amount of sales. The price per square foot, which really gives you an honest look at, is a good way to look at where the market's going. We were $321 per square foot on average in October, $313 in November. That's about 2.5% down, and that's kind of where we've been seeing that 1 to 3% reduction a month for.
So month over month. So we've seen kind of the trend, and if my memory serves me right, Bobby, the trend that we've been seeing is as we've been losing value.
For sure.
You know, they countrywide, they're saying that something like $1 trillion has been lost in real estate value on single-family homes. But then that's coming from like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But if I remember correctly, the last several months that we've been doing the show, since like August, we've lost probably now with another 3% came in, but in October you baked in, so we're down what, 11, 12%?
And I'll tell you on the price per square foot, I can maybe get it after the break where we're at, but that's about right. In June, about our high price per square foot was $341. We're down to $313 on the price per square foot.
Okay.
So, and that's really one of the better ways to look at it. To see you're pulling out the highs and the lows.
So we're down 9.2%.
Yeah, close to 10.
So 10%, give or take.
And that's in the numbers from November. And if you skew into what we're in now, it's probably it's probably close to what you were saying,
right.
11, 12%.
So we're probably 11, 12%. Yeah.
So the big surprise we have for Bobby, I got my hands on an email today.
Oh, I know about this. You're gonna love this.
You know who it's from, right?
Yeah, I think I heard.
It's from Bill O'Reilly. Hey, Bobby, your wife tells me you're going to turn 50. Congratulations, and I hope you have a blast on Sunday. The most important thing is that your wife thinks you're a great guy and has told me all about you. That is quite the present. Cheers, Bill O'Reilly. That's pretty amazing.
Dude.
No, it came
another stat.
Your radio cool factor just went up like 10 rungs on the cool ladder.
No, it came from the domain BillO'Reilly.com.
Oh, yeah.
The email has that domain name on it, so I know it's authentic.
He's I've communicated with him a few times over years. I haven't met him in person.
So your birthday's on Sunday. You're going to be 50. So how long have you been listening to Bill O'Reilly?
Probably since when 96 or so, maybe when he started at Fox News, and I think maybe I remember him being on Inside Edition.
So after the O'Reilly Factor.
Yeah, well,
or
before
no,
the
Inside
O'Reilly.
Edition. After Inside Edition?
After Inside Edition.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've listened to him for a long time.
Chad, you kind of hit it on it earlier, and said that there will be a break, or you feel there will be a break in interest rates. 2 more months.
I think 2 more quarters.
2 more quarters. Why is it?
I think Q3. Well, I follow a gentleman by the name of Barry Habib on MBS Highway, and Barry Habib he's been in the mortgage industry for many, many years. He was a monster loan originator back in the day, but he started MBS Highway, and he tracks interest rates and things such as that and trends in the market. So when I say all these things on the radio, I don't want to take 100% credit for them, but based upon the experts or the people that I follow and I listen to, him being one of them, we're thinking Q2 of next year, or at the end of Q2, we should see interest rates stabilize a little bit more and get back down, hopefully into the low 5s. That's what we're hoping for. We get there, the market kind of stabilizes, the mentality of the sellers and the buyers kind of catch up with the reality of the market, and then we're going to have a little bit more stabilization where we have seen just incredible swings in interest rates this year. I mean, I've never seen, in almost 25 years of doing this, I have never seen interest rates do what they've done. We had some purchases that we did not lock because we thought that we felt interest rates were going to maybe get a tick better, and wham, in 2 days, I mean, interest rates went up 3/4 of a point. I've never experienced this roller coaster ride, and it's been a very crazy year, not just with the real estate sales, but interest rates in of themselves have been just just outlandishly crazy. We started the year, if you go back at the end of last year, I mean, VA interest rates, for our veterans, these are the people that Mohave Mortgage, truly, I'm so appreciative of them. When we do a veteran, or loan for a veteran, I mean, I feel special about that. We were doing interest rates last year at 2.25% on VA loans. 2.25% on 30-year fixed rate. I mean, it's free money, right?
That would be like a year ago today.
Yes,
yeah,
very much so. We were locking loans a year ago today at 2.25%, maybe 2.5% on a VA loan. Today, if we were looking at a VA loan, they're 6.125. So it's crazy.
What's interesting, I just got this email from the Association of Realtors yesterday, and they said make sure you disclose. This is from the Realtor Association, but there's been lots of numbers. You see people post things on Facebook, even realtors that I think have it together, and the numbers aren't jiving always what I'm seeing. So takes a little bit of time to put it together, and it's fun to put together.
So that's a very famous, super uber famous 80s metal band that started in the 80s, more or less. Do you know who that is?
Whitesnake?
No. That is not David Cloverdale, not even close. Bobby?
No, I don't know.
Jake?
I was born in the 90s.
Def Leppard.
No!
Oh my goodness.
Really?
Def Leppard. That's Joe Elliott. Yeah.
Oh, I did not place that at all.
Right? Isn't that great? All right, Speak Out, brought to you in part by Arizona Financial Credit Union, Mohave Community College. My favorite word used twice and differentiated by an apostrophe.
Herbs.
That's it.
I've been there yesterday.
SunPower by Esme Electric, samsguns.com, and by the Lewis team,
Woo-woo.
ReMax by the Lake,
Love those guys.
with team leader Bobby Lewis and Julie Lewis. You know what you should do for your branding?
What's that?
Say since 1972.
There we go.
You like that?
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. 5 decades.
Yeah, since,
On our 5th decade.
absolutely. Bobby, I know you've got more numbers.
Yeah, I definitely do. Let's go with, we did the $1 million. So in 2021 we did 10 in November, $1 million sales, and we did 2 this last month in November. But we can look at condos too. Condos were 17 sales in 2021. That's condos and townhomes in Lake Havasu City. That's dropped to 7. And manufactured homes, there were 13 sales last year. This year we're at 10 in November. And I'm also going to talk about where we're at pending, which says we're going to have another slow month or so at least coming up, where you have 82 pending plus 17 new construction pending right now. So that's not even over 100 what's pending coming up. But again, it goes back to our inventory's still been falling, and we're noticing in our own business, some of our houses that we're sitting have been moving a little bit, and pending themselves because there's less.
Do you have the cash number for November?
Yeah, I do have the cash number for November. It will out of the 6120.
Wow.
So, and it might be a little bit more than that because there were 5 that are unknown. And
so let's just assume that those 5, so 25, you're approaching the 45% mark.
It's a huge percentage. Even the stuff me and Julie just have in escrow right now, I think almost all of it's cash. So 3 or 4 deals. So.
Yeah, that's and I think that's I'm sure you'll agree is that there's a direct correlation. The people that really have money are still buying homes, but they're paying cash because of the interest rates are a little bit higher than what their comfort level is. So, that's not a good number for us.
No,
our business is lending money, so that's very eye opening.
Yeah, there's not a lot of mortgages right now. Historically, looking at the way the numbers are, but like you said, interest rates have come down a little bit. We're in the mid-6s instead of 7, and I noticed that just in the way people are talking. You get a little bit lower than that, and we will.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to our new account executive at United Wholesale Mortgage, who's one of our wholesale partners, where, you know, Mr. Moskal, if you please, came from. And the account executive, his name's Josh Welsh, really cool guy, retired military. So, you know, a lot of respect to him. But he was telling me this morning that they have seen an 8% uptick in refinance applications. So that tells me that the mentality of our borrowers is now really kind of catching up with the reality of the market.
It's changing.
Typically,
for sure.
January and February historically have been pretty busy refinance months in the mortgage industry because, you know, people tend to spend a lot during December, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's been so cash heavy the last couple of years. I don't know if that's gonna materialize this coming year in 2023. Now, I think that the loans that we're doing now, I mean, we're still relatively busy for a mortgage company. I mean, some of our competitors in town are really not. They haven't even had, you know, 1, 2, 3 applications.
Mm-hmm.
We still have a pipeline, so we're very fortunate, but we're very, you know, we're out doing a lot of things to make sure that pipeline is
keeps
full.
going.
And the reality is I don't think we're going to see that coming next year in the first 2 quarters. But the loans that we're doing now, we're creating our next refinance market, right? 6 months, 8 months from now, the loans that we funded in the last 3, 4, 5 months, they're going to be refinance transactions come next year if the interest rates that do materialize that we're thinking are going to come. But one way we've been combating those is we've been doing what's called a 2-1 buy down product. We've been seeing a lot of seller concessions, right? So there's a product out there, let's just say that the interest rate is 6% on any given day. If the seller of a home is willing to give a concession to pay for what's called a 2-1 buy down, we can get an interest rate that's 2% lower than the market rate for a year. So if it's a 6% interest rate at that day when we're ready to lock, the seller gives a concession, which once again, we're seeing a lot of seller concessions because that's the market we're in.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to do that, then that borrower will get an interest rate that's 4%, a fixed interest rate 4% for 1 year, and then it'll go to 5% for another year, and then it'll go to the note rate of 6%. Gives you 3 years to really kind of play that market, to play the, you know, what's going on. Most of the purchase transactions that we've done in the last month and a half have had the 2-1 buy down product on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's become very popular because it's. It was around many years ago, but it disappeared because rates were so good. So we're seeing that. We're seeing that 2-1 buy down. It's become an incredibly popular product.
Interesting.
You got to keep in mind too. I mean, if you're getting a 6.5% mortage, it's still
historically low,
my
right?
first couple of houses were 7.
Yeah.
So
I think our first mortgage, I want to say, it was 7%. I think. 7%, and back then, you know, we had a lot of risky products, so we did like what was called an 80-20.
Mm-hmm.
We did 100% financing when we bought our very first house, and I think our second was at 12. Mm-hmm. So we had a 7% first, and then a 12% second.
Oh, I remember those days.
Oh,
7 and 10, for sure.
Yeah, that was back in early 2001. So, you know, those products, kind of to segue into my next thought process, those products are what really caused 2008 to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we're going to see another thing. If we remember correctly, going back a couple months, I think we're going to see about an 18% correction in the market. We're already at probably about 11. We may have a little bit more pain over the next couple of quarters, but I always get this question. I don't do real estate. Bobby, you do real estate, right? But people always ask my opinion.
For sure.
They say, is it a good time to buy a house? And the answer is, it's always a good time to buy a house. Unless you're an investor that's buying and flipping, real estate is a long-term investment, right? So most folks, on average, are going to stay in a house about 7 years. Me, I'm not average. I mean, my last house, I owned it for 20 years before I sold it. But investors, you know, right now may not be the best time, but we're seeing trends come down. We're seeing more sub 300 homes kind of starting to hit the market in Havasu, which really gives us an opportunity for first-time home buyers now, right? We can get homes for our first-time home buyers again, our workers, you know, the people that support our community. So I'm very excited about that. We're working on several first-time home buyers right now that you know, that when you get a first-time home buyer, their first house, I mean, come on, man.
It's the best.
And actually, one of them we're working on with one of your teammates.
Yeah.
So you know, when you close those deals, when you close a veteran, a VA deal, every deal feels great, right? But when you're doing first-time home buyers and veterans and first responders, I mean, these are the people that you really want to, you want to, I celebrate though. I celebrate every mortgage, and I celebrate all of our customers, right? And thank you very much for all the support that you've given Mohave Mortgage. But the first-time home buyers, those are fun. Those are real fun.
Bobby, we talked about $1 million homes earlier.
Yes.
And you said there were 2.
Well, there were
Did
two.
Did I read somewhere, maybe it was in the Today's News Herald, that there was a $4 million sale? Was that part of it?
It hasn't closed yet.
It has not closed.
But that's one of the things that's interesting about our market right now is that we've seen the very ultra luxury market that didn't even exist in Havasu at some point, other than people building the home themselves. We're seeing those type of homes, and that wasn't even in the Riviera. You know, that's out on the island. And some of the things they're building out in the Riviera. There's another birthday boy coming up, Scott Ward with Mountain Desert. I think he's turning 50 here in a few days.
Is he listening too?
Yeah, I don't know. but these super high-end wealthy people are out there, and they're in Havasu way more than we'd ever seen.
And that's good,
before now.
and that tells you, you know, once you're getting into the 40 and 50% cash market.
Yeah.
You know, I mean the high end stuff. Because how many homes are listed below 500,000?
Oh, I don't have the exact number right here, but less. I mean, way less than half of what's for sale. So,
Right.
or probably about half. You know, it's interesting too when you talk about the cash buyers like that. These are people that are savvy and have money, and they're coming and buying them. So they're not seeing people like we didn't see that in 08 like this until it dumped, until it was like half the percent. You know, half the value. And so people have money are buying houses. Some of them are buying investments, some are buying high end. But what's that tell you? That they're not as worried about this market value-wise.
Right. And typically they're you know, they're holding on to real estate as an asset long term.
Oh, for sure.
So
And
I mean, when you have somebody buying a $4 million house or a pendant $4 million house, I mean that person. I mean that's
they're parking money and they love
right.
the house.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I mean just look for the Gulfstream out at the airport because that'll be that person. Yeah.
And Paul, did you want to go over the numbers too? Did you tease it yesterday a little bit? How our total sales for the year or whatever?
The annual? Yeah, that would be great.
You, as of the end.
I did tease that. You heard it.
Hey, there we go. Year to date, at the end of November, last year we were at 2,227 per the MLS sales. This year we're 1,668. That's single family. And that's a 25% reduction year over year. So
I would have thought it would have been bigger than that.
25% is huge,
I think
though.
the biggest trends have been really getting hammered the last couple of months.
Well,
I mean, based upon the numbers.
The first 6 months this year were really strong still.
Yeah, because
second 6
everything
months.
was flowing over from
Because
2021.
we've been several months in a row where we're less than 50%.
You know, let's talk about the new year and take about 30 seconds to a minute each and tell me what you guys expect out of the new year. If you have a New Year's resolution for your business or for the market, or just how you want to approach 2023.
That's a great question. Just treating people right, being kind to the customers and the clients, and treating people right.
So continue to do what you're doing.
And just do it a little better. And I have a client's house too. I want to prop up. There's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath.
The consummate sale.
It's all good.
2,700 square feet. Give us a call. I would like to do that for her, but just treat people right. And
What part of town?
Central part of town. Luxury, beautiful home, actually.
Nice.
789,000.
So it's not the north side, not the south side.
Yeah, almost 3,000 square feet. Huge lake view in the back. Classy, beautiful home.
Cross streets?
Hiawatha and McCulloch.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Chad, what about you?
Well, you know, I've been working on 2023 for 6 months, so I'm not going to get into specifics about that, about you know what our strategy is, but
I don't want to know that.
I mean, I will tell you this: next month when we do the Power Hour, there will be a massive announcement from Mohave Mortgage. But I've been working on this for a long time, and we finally we're making some interesting moves. But once again, I'm going to dovetail off Bobby. You know, just treat our community right. Shop local. I mean, We're a local company.
That's
Bobby's
a great
local company.
That's a great New Year's resolution.
Merry
Shop
Christmas,
local,
guys. Yeah. Merry
especially
Christmas,
for your
everybody out there.
mortgage.
Yeah, especially for your mortgage.
Right,
Yeah.
shop local. I like that.
Call the Lewis team too.
That's right.
Looking for a house.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad time actually.
No, it's a great time.
Guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Welcome to the community.
Thank you
You're
very
gonna
much.
love it here.
Already do.
Beautiful town.
All
Been a
right.
blessing.
All right, perfect. Again, it's the Real Estate Power Hour. All right, we'll see you next month. It's the third Wednesday of each month, except for this month. And
Yeah, thanks to Steve Greeley for letting us
Yeah, thank you,
have
Steve.
a special Christmas edition of the Real Estate Power Hour.
Merry Christmas to all of you.